welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Roxanne, the Tiny Taster, and today's episode is fantastic Parsi style mutton cutlets. Now these cutlets are delicious. They can be eaten on their own with some tomato ketchup or hot sauce with dal chawal, however you like. They're fairly easy to make and they go around really fast. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. As always, don't forget to click the link below in the description box. It'll have the details, the description, the quantities, everything. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment. I love hearing what you think. So without any further ado, let's get cooking. In a bowl, you'll add in your minced mutton, and to this you will add in some ginger garlic paste along with salt to taste. You'll add in some coriander powder, a little bit of red chili powder, a little bit of haldi powder, some cumin powder and garam masala powder. Now I like to add some fresh chopped coriander to this, so I chop it in with a scissor. And to this, I like to add in some soaked sliced bread. I've soaked about 4 slices. I've taken off the edges and then I just squeeze the bread so that all the water comes out and it's not liquidy. It actually becomes a nice binder. So you just crumble this with your hands and add it into the mixture. Now this is the fun part. You will just mix this together with your hand. I do not recommend using a spatula or any other spoon to mix this. You just have to mix it well with your fingers and make sure that everything combines together and it's incorporated into one nice big batter. This might take about 5 or 7 minutes. Sometimes if you feel that there's a little bit of one ingredient that is too little, then you can add a little bit more. I was going to say too much, but of course if it's too little, add a little bit more till you get the right consistency and make sure it's mixed well and all combined together. Now in a separate bowl, you will crack in 2 eggs and with a fork or a spoon, you will whisk them well. Make sure that it's really well whisked so the yolk and white combine well together because we're going to use this for binding. In another bowl, you will add in your semolina or rava. This, of course, is going to go in for coating the cutlets. So make sure that there's enough. And if you need to add more, you can add it in later as well. Now I make a small dredging station. I get the minced meat batter close to the rava or the semolina and I just take a handful of this batter mix and roll it into a ball. You could do it with 1 hand or 2 hands, and then you will need 2 hands to flatten this out into a nice cutlet shape. I try to give it a little bit of a rectangle shape. Those are the cutlets that I like, but if you want to make it circular, that's also not a problem. There's no hard and fast rule. I will say that you should try and make the cutlet as thin as possible because it does tend to fluff up. If it's too thick, if it's too much of a ball, it will take longer to cook. So once you roll it out, you flatten it with your hands and then just dunk it into the semolina. Of course, because the meat is sticky, the semolina will sort of stick to it. Just keep coating it and make sure that it is covered on all sides. Every bit of this cutlet is covered with semolina. And then you will just continue doing this for all your cutlets. I'll put this on another plate and let it rest while I continue making the rest of my cutlets. And this is what the cutlets look like. They've been coated in semolina or rava and they are ready to be fried. At this stage, I'll get my oil nice and hot and ready in a shallow pan. You can use a deeper kadhai and deep fry this, but I just use a normal frying pan with enough hot oil. Once the oil is hot, I will use the egg mixture to dunk my cutlets into it. The egg is a nice covering or a coating. It gives this lacy texture. We Parsis like our cutlets nice and lacy, and it has this egg batter covering. And once it's coated nicely, you will place it into the pan. If you notice that it's cracked in certain places, like here, I just use my fingers and a little bit of the egg batter to seal it on top and cover it. You can do that a little bit later as well. Once your first cutlet is placed in, you will go ahead in with the second one. My pan can accommodate 2 at a time. Dunk it in well, coat it well with all that oil, and then as you can see, like I did, I'm just using my fingers and a little bit of the extra oil to seal any little cracks or crevices. You could even just pour the egg on top, but I don't want to do that right now. I just prefer to do this with my fingers, and you can see the lace starting to form on the side as it cooks. I let the cutlets cook on one side for about 4 or 5 minutes. You can see it's starting to firm up. You could even splatter a little bit of oil with your spatula on top. And then ever so gently with your spatula, just flip it over to let it cook on the other side. Now, I was not very graceful about this. Ideally, I should have used another spatula or spoon to help me flip it over. So please don't hesitate. Just go ahead and do that. I struggled a little bit over here. But just let it cook on both sides for another 4 to 5 minutes. So you want the meat to cook completely. If you do notice over here, the oil tends to get brown. This happens a lot when you're cooking even kebabs, like I've shown you in a previous video. Anything that has an egg batter to it or an egg coating, it tends to get like that. So don't worry, you can drain out the top from time to time before making your next batch with a spoon. Just scoop out that extra brown bits on top and continue. But as you can see over here, the cutlets are cooked nicely. They've gotten golden brown on the top. You can keep turning it from side to side and cooking it, or you could just cook it on either side for 4 to 5 minutes and then take it out and drain it on a paper towel or another plate. Now you will continue this process of dunking the cutlet into the egg batter and egg mixture, making sure that it's coated very well, and then placing it in your pan. Again, use a little bit of the egg batter to cover any crevices or any cracks, and then just let it cook again for about 4 to 5 minutes. I think as your pan gets hotter and hotter, it will cook faster, so you can eyeball that, but I think 4 to 5 minutes on either side is a safe bet. I do have a little tip for you, however. If you feel that you're not sure if the cutlets have cooked thoroughly, before serving them, I would zap them in the microwave for about a minute or two on the highest setting, just to make sure that it's cooked again. It also helps if you're reheating these and not serving them hot. But either ways, they make wonderful cutlets. And this is really it. These are your mutton lacy Parsi cutlets. Mine were not that lacy because I didn't put so much of the egg batter on it. But if you want them really frilly, you can add a little bit of the egg batter on top whilst they're cooking in the pan. But they're really simple. They're delicious. My family went gaga when I made these. I was not expecting that response, but obviously they were made very, very well. So I'm very pleased. I hope you enjoy this recipe. As always, the link is there in the description box for a detailed written recipe. I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you guys very, very soon.